Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Warenberg, and today I'm going to be talking about the difference between knowing when you're listening to your intuition versus when you're listening to learned socialization. So I've been thinking about this concept for a few years now. When I first started to get really healthy and really evaluate who I was and what I was doing and who I was hanging out with and kind of what my path was, I really asked to call in my intuition and to use my intuition as a guide to help guide us. My previous video, I talk about intuition a little bit, so if you haven't watched that one, I would suggest doing that first. But anyway, so intuition is this idea that we can feel what is right and what is wrong in our bodies, and just this sense of we know what's going on, and we can decide from there. And it kind of like, it doesn't ignore the logic, but we use our bodies in a way that our logic mind can't really compete with. And so when I first started getting healthy, I thought, I was like, okay, yeah, this definitely feels like the right answer, or this person definitely feels good to me, or this is definitely the right decision. And then I would make that decision based on my intuition, or so I thought, and then it would turn out to be not ideal. It wouldn't feel very good. It felt a little off. And so I really had to take a step back and evaluate, okay, was that my intuition or was that learned socialization? Which, what I mean by that is I just basically mean we get so used to very toxic, unhealthy behaviors. We just get socialized into them, and they're very normal, based on family life, based on unhealthy relationships, based on when we were existing at very low vibrating energy level. And so if we're used to accepting that type of energy as what we look for and assign that as our intuition instead of what our intuition truly is, then that's where we can make the wrong decision, the decision that doesn't sit well with us. And that's kind of the difference between trusting our intuition versus what we've been socialized into. So for example, for me, I kept choosing people that they felt right, they felt good, I had a good feeling about them right away. But really it was just because I was used to really unhealthy people being in my life. And so I would choose them because they felt right, but really they weren't right. It was just the learned unhealthy behavior that I was used to that felt like, okay, yes, I know what this is, I can classify it, it's in my comfort zone, even though it's super unhealthy. And so when healthy people would show up, I would reject them because I would say this doesn't feel right because it wasn't what I was used to. And so one thing I would really suggest, you can't really connect with your intuition fully until you do the work about clearing emotional trauma and getting present within yourself and kind of moving all that old stuff out of the way. So first thing I would suggest would be to just get very clear about what old stories was I told. What was I told about what does a healthy relationship look like? What does a loving workspace look like? When I'm truly feeling like myself, what do I act like? What do I want to do? How do I feel when I feel full and open? And really getting clear about the untrue story, the lie story you were told, and the truth story. What is your authentic truth? How can you exist as that? And then write those down and then look at the differences and then just start to slowly realize how you're acting in the old lies and how you want to start acting with trusting your intuition. And so that's one way to just kind of clear those differences out and just get very clear and very present with how to reconnect with your intuition. And then of course, like always, it's really, really important to be in your body. And so I would suggest thinking about when you make a decision, where does it feel in your body? Does it feel good in your stomach? Does it make your chest feel tight? Does it make your arms feel heavy? Does it make your legs feel numb? And just, with every decision, after a meal you eat, after you go to the grocery store, after you check out a book from the library, after you have a meeting at work, whatever goes on for you, just being really present in your body and seeing how that plays into your intuition practice. Because again, a lot of this is just increasing awareness in your body. So that's it today for learned socialization and getting confused with our intuition. You can always go to www.erin-elizabeth.com for more information about me or what I do or my events coming up. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye!